Hi, everybody. This is Renu Puri here, founder and senior nutritionist with Charisma Diet Center. We have decided to go live on certain health issues. Most of them to begin with, I would prefer to be women health issues, but there are so many issues which affect both the genders. Any particular health issue for which you want dietary guidance, or for which you want the tips how to handle it at your own level, because for every small little detail you can't be visiting a doctor or even a diet clinic, to know, okay, should I eat this, should I not eat this. So you feel free to write to us about the health issues that you want us to take. Today, I'm going to talk about PCOD, the health challenges, and the associated issues that it brings along with us. What is PCOD? See, polycystic ovarian disease, it is generally known as PCOD. It's a hormonal disorder that affects women in their reproductive age. Normally, what happens is that ovaries, they make very little amount of male hormones. But when the ovaries, they start making slightly more amount of androgens than normal, then this leads to an imbalance in hormone, and that causes PCOD. Now, why it happens? There can be n number of reasons. So right now we are not going to get into the detailing of why of it, that why PCOD occurs at all. We will just discuss how we combat it. If it has come into a girl's life, what does it bring with it, and how to get rid of it, or how to manage it, so to say. See, a woman who's having PCOD, she will stop ovulating, and which directly leads to very irregular menstruation. Um, uh, Therefore, more often than not, a girl who's having irregular periods, this is the first thing the doctors, they check out for. They will give you the hormonal tests and all to undergo, so that they want to ensure, PCOD is not the reason. And of course, it can be detected through very simple ultrasound test. Other things can be, other indicators can be, the women, they get a lot of facial hair, on their face, on rest of the body. It's more than normal. And acne, the skin breakout is pretty often, and it is pretty more spread than would be the natural, not just one odd pimple here or there. There's a lot of acne around. And also, unfortunately, PCOD can cause obesity. And here's again the catch 22 situation. PCOD can be managed with ideal weight. But once one has PCOD, it becomes really an uphill task to lose weight. The most, I will say, the most serious issue that this disease brings with it is inability to conceive. And the sad part about this issue is one comes to know about it only when one is trying to conceive, and the effort is not getting fructified. And then, amongst other issues, they check for PCOD, and then they come to know, okay, and it's already too late, then they start addressing it. Now, generally speaking, what can you do to counter it, to handle it at your own situation, at your own end? Women, they are the ones who are having PCOD or PCOS, they may also have insulin resistance. It's very, very prevalent. Therefore, broadly speaking, the diet that one recommends for diabetic, or for that matter, for pre-diabetic people, it is perfectly all right, or rather, I would say it's beneficial if a PCOD patient can also follow those same dietary guidelines. Now, it means that insulin levels, they need to be preempted and addressed. It is not that you will first wait to check, oh, has my sugar gone up and down. It is one aspect of it. So the things that we do in diabetes, not eating too much in one meal, and what kind of carbs to eat. See, generally speaking, one has to have the kind of carbs which are low glycemic index. Now, I'll go slightly off the subject here of PCOD and talk about low glycemic index. In layman's language, a food item is supposed to have low glycemic index if when ingested, it doesn't create havoc with blood sugar level. which means the body is taking its own sweet time to digest it. Hence, the insulin is secreted accordingly because the blood sugar level is gradually rising. So the whole thing is very well managed by the body. But when we have food, that's why normally these days a lot more girls are having PCOD because very easy. Those packaged foods and all those items are available, so you ingest them, and it confuses the body about how much insulin to produce. So, which foods a person having PCOD or the ones trying to avoid PCOD should be eating? Like very natural, low glycemic index food like whole wheat, like wheat flour, legumes, pulses, beans. One may think legumes, pulses, beans are protein source, but they are not purely protein. They do have the right kind of carbs in it. Like I said, again, low glycemic. High fiber vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, green leafy vegetables. Go for palak, go for salad greens, kale, absolutely anything. Then low protein like fish, chicken, tofu. Tofu is also so readily available. Then homemade paneer. Then fruits like berries. Then bell peppers, sweet potato, nuts like almonds and walnuts. All these things they are very beneficial, and it's not really very difficult to follow this kind of diet. You can incorporate these in various formats. Sometimes just as a regular sabzi that we make. Sometimes you're making pasta, you add a bit of it. Now, talking about pasta, it reminds me what not to eat. The white flour preparations like pastries, muffins, pastas of refined flours like semolina or maida. There are better pasta preparations available out there these days. If you infuse that dish that you're making pasta at home, if you infuse it with a lot of these green leafy vegetables, you can put parboiled spinach in that, add kale, add slightly sauteed or boiled broccoli, and you can even spice it up to your individual taste. You absolutely can make a choice whether you want to go to oregano side, or do you want to go towards jeera and garam masala side. Absolutely, whatever is familiar and more fetching to you. Like I always say, don't sacrifice on the fragrance of the food, the appearance of the food. These two play a very important role. So I am saying have pasta, all right, but don't go for those maida pasta or semolina flours or durum wheat flour pastas. Another food to avoid is sugar. You may pick up a food item and you read the wrapper very carefully and you say, oh, there is no sugar. But sugar these days is hidden with so many creative ways. If I tell you there are more than 200 names that they have given to sugar to hide the actual name sugar, you'll be surprised. But few common ones are high fructose, corn syrup, and fructose even. So be mindful about that. Another thing to avoid, particularly for girls who are inclined towards PCOD, is fruit juices. If you have a choice to pick between a fresh fruit or a fresh fruit juice, always opt for a fruit because it will bring the right kind of fiber with it, which will help, like I said, sending the right kind of signal to the body. Therefore, the body will be producing just the right amount of insulin. Hence, the dance of blood sugar is not going to send the body into major secretion of insulin, and hence sending your system out of whack. Baked goods is another item which I would recommend that if you want to be on top of this issue, you need to avoid, because normally, if you notice that baked goods, they have lot of refined flour and it's full of sugar and of course fats. Uh, if I say avoid it, I'm not saying completely eliminate unless you are fighting uh, an issue which is at its extreme stage. Otherwise, you just go very easy on the quantity. How do you counter it? See, the fact of the matter is that stress is also a big contributor. A woman who's looking very healthy, she's lean, she may also be having PCOD. But guys, you don't have to worry. You can come to Charisma Diet Center, and we will take care of the stress, the diet, and how to follow it, the recipes, and let's have very healthy women population around us. That can really be a good foundation of society. Stay healthy, stay happy. Think of health, think of Charisma Diet Center.